Wait, why don't we
Ready?
fall in love? Copywriting.
I am wise, I am strong. I am loved, I am here.
Hello and welcome to I Am Here, a lovely podcast with, how did this start? Lovely podcast where two cousins actually talk for like 2+ hours before they start recording, and then now they do the actual recording. Hello, I'm Gabriela, Gabi.
And I'm Amarilis.
And today we're gonna
It's my
fall
fault.
in love. We're gonna fall in love. No, it's my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. I just don't stop it when it's happening.
I'm just so interesting, and you just can't stop talking to me. We had 36 questions, like, because you probably forgot, because we've been doing this for like the last year. But we've been trying to fall in love with each other.
They did say, okay. It was based on research some psychologists did, but I don't know how valid this study is. I don't know how reliable it is. I don't know if they've been able to replicate it and continue to do it. But you know what? It's fun. So that's it.
Yeah, that's.
Don't come at me.
No, listen. Listen, this is exactly why we need you on TikTok, like constantly making things, because people will like take this as like, oh no, I did this and now my partner and I aren't gonna be together, or something like that. Like they will take this as like the Bible of like psychology.
No, this is definitely pop psych. Yeah, but it truly is helpful in at least conversation starters and getting to know somebody in your life a little bit more deeply. So it's nice to have guided questions.
Yeah, it's also good because we thrive on structure, because we have none on this podcast. Anyway,
I don't know if we thrive, like thriving in structure. I think those are strong words.
I do.
I like semi-structure. Like, tell me what to do, but don't tell me what to do.
But that's still structure, though.
I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want.
But that's also structure. That's like, okay, I have zero structure, so then I'm going to be a Jackson Pollock painting, and I'm going to be all over the place, and I'm going to be messy, which is beautiful. It's art. But also having structure, he still put it on a canvas, so that's semi-structure.
It's different. It's flexy.
I want to do the even questions because odd numbers make me sad.
I feel odd today.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay. Good. That's funny.
I don't know how to explain this, but even numbers just feel round to me. They just do. They feel like a circle.
I like lines. I don't like round numbers. Like 8, it doesn't do it for me.
It's too round for you?
It's too round.
That's so rude to 8.
I don't know. I like 6 though. 6 is a round number.
You know what? 8. Don't listen to her because you're curvy and beautiful.
So the 36 questions, they are divided into 3 sets. We did the first set and we did the second set. And we're supposed to, like, the idea is as you continue to go into the questions, they go into more depth. They're a little bit more intimate. And that's the promise of falling in love. It's not really a full promise, but it does help you connect more deeply. So we already did part 1, part 2, like Gabi said last year. But anyways, we did what we want. And we've come back to fall in love and complete the process.
I have a criticism on how we're doing this that will definitely come up in if people actually watch this, like, or listen to this. This is how they're gonna. This way. But guys, you did this over the course of like several different like weeks and days, so like it minimizes the effect of the study, right? Yes, but we don't care.
This is why we don't do well with structure.
Mm-hmm.
Then we say we don't do well with structure. We do what we want.
We need a balance of structure.
Honestly, there's no reason. We're just going to do what we want. Okay, so each one of us has to make 3 true we statements. Oh, Lord, why was that hard?
Okay, we are both beautiful.
Beautiful.
We are both passionate. We are both funny. I'd like to think so.
Yes, to each other at least.
Yes, that's the only thing that matters.
Who cares what anybody else says? Based on a conversation that we had before we recorded the podcast that nobody heard.
Oh, yeah.
We are both Sagittarius rising. Maybe.
I'm going to take that as an absolute yes, because I'll explain that in a bit, but you can go.
You don't know what time you were born.
I don't know
That's the only explanation.
I thought I was born at 10:30, which would have meant that I was all fire signs, rising, like moon, and like the big three would have been fire, which to me makes sense.
Fire.
Yeah, like it would have made sense to me. But then I saw the video of my birth, and then it said I was born at 9:30. So then I was like, oh, my life has changed completely. And then I checked, and then it was like not the same thing. It was rising Scorpio and then a moon in Cancer. So anyway, I would like to think that I am a rising Sagittarius. So let's just anyway.
I think it fits. Anyways,
continue.
we're both rising. We're both, well, it says true, but I'm gonna say it's true. Both Sagittarius rising. English is hard. We both have difficulty speaking English because we are bilingual. And we are both artistic in our own ways.
Oh, that's nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share
my life.
Oh, that's so cute.
Okay. You had to complete it.
I wish I had someone with whom I could share my daily discoveries, like something that like I discovered that day that makes me really excited. I mean, I have it, but like that's something that's really important to me.
Yeah. That sounds like your life too. It's like your daily curiosities and experiences, and isn't that what life is?
Yeah,
your day.
Yeah. And then like if something comes up in the day that you're like kind of thinking about, because you're just like, oh, that's why this happens, or like, wow, that's a thing, cool. And then I just want to talk about it with someone. And you're usually the person, honestly, that like is usually like really excited to talk about that specific thing in general, because I do have like people in my life that will get excited to talk about that, but I think you're the one out of all of them that is the most excited to talk about it.
I think it's because we're both Sagittarius rising.
I want my merch shirt to say that. Gabi is
and then it has a parentheses, I think.
I think. Alecha, if you're hearing this, please make me this shirt.
I'm a Sagittarius rising, I think.
Oh my god. But the fact that you said, I wish I had someone to share your life. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. That is the same thing. I love you. I mean, we're not to the end yet.
But it's working.
I do love you. Okay.
If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, me, please share what would be important for me to know.
What would I want you to know? I would need you to know. I need someone to check me when I am not taking care of myself by accident. Like I will forget. I need someone to just be like, hey, remember, use like accountability.
You've mentioned that before. You've mentioned that like when you've defined close friends, good friends is someone who's like, hey, you're kind of sabotaging yourself. You're going against what you said you wanted to do. Stop it.
Yeah.
I am a introvert that appears extroverted. So I would like to be invited to things, and I would like for you to reach out to me and check in on me. But I also need my alone space. So I would like to be invited, even though I may not show up to things, but still invite me anyway.
Oh, that's really good.
I may disappear and be gone, and you may not hear from me, but I need you to pull me back into like the scene and check on me, even though I may go ghost.
That's really good for people to know.
Yes, because I will go away, but it doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you. It means that I've gone into my shell and I need a little bit of incentive or motivation or inspiration to pull me out. Yeah. And it's not like a depression thing. It's just like hey, I was thinking of you, and check in on me. Yeah. So that way I can prioritize those social relationships.
That makes sense, because I think a lot of people need to hear that, because when people see someone retreating, they often say, oh, well, I need to leave them alone, give them their space. And they think that by doing that, they're helping them in a way. But like in reality, like you require, like, I would like you to, like, if you're thinking of me, let me know. otherwise it's going to be hard for me to get out of that space, which
check in with me, because I as an introvert, I go into my shell and isolate and can re-energize it, and I stay there for a long time, and I'm like, wait a minute, I like people too. So it's needing that, almost like that little spark to bring you back. Because it is what you're like thinking, oh, they just need their alone time, which is true. So don't take that personally, but invite me. I like to be thought of, and know that I might not show up, but I still want to be invited.
No, yeah, because they're thinking of you. Like, that makes sense. I actually have lots of friends that are like this. If I'm like thinking about doing a thing, I'm always like, I'm gonna do it, because I'm very like spontaneous sometimes. Okay, sometimes I need structure, sometimes I'm pain. And then I'm like, oh, what?
You're not. You're triple fire. I don't care what you say.
Okay, well, I would love to be triple fire. And now what I do is like, I know they're probably going to say no, but I'm going to ask them anyway because I thought of them. So that's like really good for us to know. When I say us, like people who, even though we are introverted, we're not like the same kind of introvert, if that makes any sense. Like, that's actually really helpful to know. So thank you for telling me.
Yeah. And it's almost like, I think of what you had mentioned of like not wanting to like reach out because they probably need their alone time. I also have told people who are meeting me, or when we're becoming more acquainted and have a closer friendship, of like, don't make a decision for me. Like, let me make the decision. Even if I don't want to go, let me know and I'll let you know. I don't want to go, but thank you for inviting me. Or I have the opportunity to go and be like, you know what? I was just in my little zone, but that sounds fun. Like, let the other person make the choice. And they're grown ups. They can make the choice whether they want to stay in their introverted, like recharge time, or if they have space for socializing.
So my question would be, if someone forgot to invite you, would it be better or worse if after the event happened they remembered and be like, oh my god, I thought of them but I didn't invite them because I thought they didn't want to, and if they reached out to you and told you that, like, hey, I thought of you when I did this, would that be worse than if they didn't invite you at all?
I think it takes a high level of vulnerability and courage to be the person to say, hey, I thought of you, but I didn't invite you. Whoops, because I didn't think you wanted to show up. Because I don't think speaking on your truth is ever bad. It may feel awkward, but I don't think speaking on your truth is ever bad. Like, I think speaking truthfully would minimize the amount of like misunderstandings, because I could easily be like, oh, they didn't want me there, or like, it wasn't that, like I can make up a story based on what I see, but if you add your side of the story, then it allows me to hear it, and I decide from there. But I think it's better to communicate regardless, because we make up stories in our mind, and then that's when resentments or misunderstandings or conflict happen that don't need to happen.
Okay, that's
first of all, I would say let the other person make the decision, and then second, I would say, if you were like, oh, I didn't think they would come, so I didn't invite them, and I would say, then just let the person know. Be like, look, I don't know when to invite you and not to invite you, because you don't be showing up, and they probably will tell you the same thing of like, I want to be invited, just know that I might not come up. Speaking on your truth is always helpful. People may not like it, or it may feel awkward, but I do think it minimizes the amount of problems we go through, because what happens is we try to make up stories, we try to guess what people are thinking and feeling, what they want, and that's just extra work. We can just talk about it, and that seems.
Tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you've just met.
I like your personality, and I like the things that seems like you don't like about yourself, which I think is typical. But I like the goofiness, I like the tangents, I like the random facts that come to your mind and your excitement about sharing them. Yes, I like it.
That's so nice. We can hear just Binya going. Yeah. But I heard you. But
it's so annoying when you listen to the podcast and you just hear the.
That is her dog, by the way. Amarilis, you are something I really, really, really like about you is how daring you are to stand up for your truth in a way that is like, sometimes people may think that it's very, very blunt. And like, I'm gonna be honest, when I first started building a relationship with you, I was scared with it, because it was very it was something I've never seen or never got, but I definitely needed, and it is so helpful. And I think I aspire to get to that point of like of owning my truth, that I will tell someone exactly what I think when I feel it, or like something that I think in the moment that's not right. And that's something that I've always admired about you.
Thank you. It's just always funny when people say that to me, because you say someone who had just met me wouldn't say that, but they have.
What?
Um
What?
I'm always surprised because in my head it doesn't feel like I'm being blunt or in your face about it.
No,
I'm just
you're not in
like
your face.
people just say things. I'm like, what? But I have gotten that where it's just like at first I was intimidated by you and I never could understand why. Um or people would have reactions where I'm saying something and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, what? I'm gonna blame Sagittarius for that.
I I was gonna say, I think it's just because and I've said this a lot, I think, before we even did all of these questions, but it's just very genuine. And because you're so genuine, I think we live in a world with like a lot of
Ooh.
niceties, and that's good, like that we're trying to like keep each other's feelings in account. And you also do that. I just think that you also are like, yes, and also this wasn't okay, or like, oh yeah, or like, no, that's dumb, like why would I think that, like why would anyone do that? And that's cool, because the thing that you say is actually true and nobody wants to say it. And the fact that you actually have the courage to say it because you know that it's true is really, really cool.
Also, I also reflect and I'm like, was that too much? Is there a different way I can be that without being
No, I mean, with my interactions, I don't think I've had an issue, but like, I can see how like maybe in a different interaction, a different dynamic, I don't know, but I love it.
Oh man.
Oh my
All right.
gosh, be real.
What?
Be real. Ready?
I don't know what that is, but cool.
Be Real is an app.
I
It's a
know,
social.
but I haven't used it, so I don't know it. One of my clients was like, "Is it okay if I put you in my Be Real?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is, but cool."
That's really funny. They got it during therapy. Oh my
Yes.
god, I love that. Yeah, it's funny. It's like whatever you're doing, just take a picture.
Share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life.
I already told the edamame story on here, right?
What?
In college, I was at the dining hall, and it was finals week, and I was so tired. I was so exhausted. It was before I knew how to manage my sleep schedule. So I had been awake for like close to 36 hours, and like the line was like really short, so just a couple of people talking to each other in front, and they had like a big bowl. And I'm like talking to the girl next to me, taking the edamame from the bowl, and she's eating it and talking to me. And I grab the edamame from the bowl and I start eating it. And I keep eating it and eating the edamame. She's just looking at me. She's like looking at me and she's looking at the edamame. And then I'm like, these are really good. She goes, yeah. Till I realized that edamame was not like a communal edamame for everyone. It was literally her bowl of edamame, like her individual. I have never seen this woman in my life. I have never talked to this girl in my life, but I was so sleep deprived that I said, I'm so sorry. And I hugged her. An uninvited stranger comes to hug you after eating your food, looked at me like I was insane. And then I turned around and walked back, and I just never took my sushi. I never got my sushi. I was so mortified.
Oh, you weren't hungry anymore. You ate a stranger's edamame.
What embarrassing stories do you have, or moments do you have?
Thinking about that as you were sharing, because like the first memory that came up was when I was little, and I'm like, what about as like recent? I'm like, do I just not care anymore and stop getting embarrassed, or do I not live enough to have embarrassing moments? Like I'm like,
Maybe you don't care.
Yeah, but I might remember later. But it's like there has to be. Like I just think of embarrassing moments. It's like the I just think of like as an adult, the one that I could think of is like when I lived in the apartments. I was going to work, and I was dressed professionally. Like I had my slacks on, and then I had my high heels on because I was going to court. Because at that time I worked as a case manager, and I had a court hearing to go to. And how like I'm running out because I'm always late. So I had my bag, like my computer laptop bag, and and I was running down the stairs with my heels, and I was like, I was gonna be late, so I was like rushing. And the laptop bag has a strap that you put over your shoulder, but I was just holding like a briefcase guide, so
Yeah.
my heel got hooked under the strap.
Oh
Like,
no.
yes. So like I fell down the last couple of stairs, and I fell onto the concrete and onto my knees.
Oh no.
And I was like, woo, okay. I was like, okay, nobody's around. That's cool. Woo, but that was bad. I'm glad nobody was around. So I like pick up my papers that fell and my laptop, and I noticed so bad because I felt hard because I looked down at my knee, and like it broke my
No.
slacks. Like it was like my
No.
slacks was ripped on the,
Oh
on the
my
knee
God.
because like I scraped, and I was like, I don't got time. And then I'm running to the car, and then I hear a voice from above say, "Are you okay?" And I'm like looking around because I don't see anybody around me. I don't see anybody.
Oh
But
my
I just hear the voice, and I'm like, somebody saw it. They must be inside like their window. And I'm calling back to the abyss. Yeah, I'm okay. And just like running into my car.
Oh my God.
It was funny.
That is so bad. I'm so sorry. That's actually really funny though.
It was just funny because like this is why professionalism is done. Why am I running down the stairs with a freaking laptop and papers and heels on? But I was like, yes, nobody saw me. I'm good. Why? Why are you yelling from your apartment? Couldn't you just see me and pretend like you didn't see nothing? Like, I don't know who you are, you faceless stranger, but thank you. Yes, I'm fine. Don't look at me.
I thought the plot twist was gonna be that was like gonna be the judge or something.
There was one judge in particular who was always cool. Every time I would come in, he'll be like, "What's up, stinky flower?" Because when I first told him my name, Amarilis, he's like, "Oh, that's a flower." And I was like, "Yes, most people don't know that." He's like, "Yeah, I have that flower. I have amaryllis flowers in my garden." He's like, "They rate to high heaven. The kids always get a stuffed animal in the adoption hearings." So we had an adoption hearing together, and the kids would get to pick from his assortment of stuffed animals. And then there was the one time I looked at the attorney, and I was like, I want one. Why do the kids always get the stuffed animals? And then it picked up on the mic, and he's like, "What was that, Stinky Flower? You want one? Come up here." And I was like, I was like, "No, no, no, come on, come on." And I went and picked up a stuffed animal, and I got a
That
little.
is
I
so
was so embarrassed
crazy.
then too.
That's funny. That's
I was
really
so embarrassed then too. I was like, I was like, I got my stuffed animal. I had my little stuffed bear from the judge in my room until Eden took it.
funny. Oh no. Amarilis, when did you last cry in front of another person? And when did you last cry by yourself?
This is a hard question. I think about a week and a half ago is the last time I cried by myself. And it was after therapy when she told me to journal, and I started journaling what we were talking about and what I was feeling. Because I have yet to cry in therapy. I've been in therapy, like I had
What?
3 different therapists, and I have yet to cry in therapy.
You've never cried in therapy?
No, I have a block, okay? I
Wow.
just don't cry. But after the therapy session, I was writing, and when I journal, um, and I think that's also just one of my issues, which is why I go to therapy, of like issues with being vulnerable, so I can cry by myself. But I have trouble with showing emotions to other people. But that was the last time I cried by myself. I was journaling, and it was about like I was processing some of like my family history stuff, and how I would like to not think about some of the things and how it's affected me now, and how I would like to think differently. So I was
Right.
crying when I was journaling, because it was sad. But
Oh.
last time I cried, and that's why I was like, I cried by myself journaling, or like in church. Um, and last time I cried in front of another person. I mean, I just told you I don't cry in therapy. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
why when you said that, I was like, wow, this is gonna be hard to find out when she last cried in front of
in
someone.
front of a person, and it's not like it hasn't happened. It's just tough. Another person. Damn. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
I, I'm gonna count this, even though it wasn't like tears from my face. It was like
Where did the
watery
tears
eyes.
come from?
It
Oh,
was watery eyes. Does that count as crying? Just watery eyes if there's no actual tears?
I don't know. I don't think I count that.
Damn!
I think like if you're actually crying and you had watery eyes, did you have to go like this, like wipe your tear away?
I have to wipe my tear away. It was just no.
I don't count that as crying then, because like visibly, like that's the whole point, is that you're visibly like, oh
But
my
my
god.
eyes got watery. They just didn't. There wasn't enough water for them to fall or need to be wiped.
You could say that one, but I feel like you still have to say a one that you can remember where you could say both, I think. I personally believe.
Okay, I'm gonna tell that one, so it gives me time to think of.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm not a cold-hearted snake. Okay.
No, we know. Not definitely not the
I
first
just
thing that comes
it's
to
hard.
mind.
It's hard. But I spent time with my friend also 2 weeks ago. And I was listening to her story and to her struggles, and I was listening to her issues with, we were talking about dating and then family attachments, and it was really like she was dealing with the memory of a loss in her family as well. So it was all of these things coming up, and that's when my eyes got watery, because I was hearing her story and feeling her pain, but I didn't cry. My eyes got watery. um I really don't know when's the last time I cried. And the only other thing, like when like actual tears came out of my eyes, I'm gonna have to say it was during a movie. It's probably in a movie theater watching Black Panther. That's the only other time I remember crying in front of other people. It was watching Black Panther in a
That's
theater,
understandable.
and there were actual tears screaming, because I saw it by myself the first time and I was crying, and I thought maybe I'm just in my time of the month, and maybe I'm just feeling extra vulnerable because I don't cry like you've just witnessed.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'm just in my feelings, and because of this, like this movie's bringing it out. But then I saw it again with my sister and nephew, and I was crying at the same exact times in the movie, and I was like, it's not me, it's this dang movie, because it's talking so much about grief. There's such a heavy theme of grief, and Chadwick Boseman like actually passing, and like honoring him.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, honestly, it's really funny that you brought up Black Panther, because I was gonna say, did you cry in Black Panther? Because it's the only movie that I know that, like, for example, my best friend Mandy, she does not cry in front of people. She doesn't. She just doesn't cry. And she bawled her eyes out at Black Panther, she said. So I know for a fact, I was gonna ask you, like, did you cry Black Panther?
Girl, that movie's so deep. The first time I saw it, I thought there must be something wrong with me, like, because I must be sensitive, because this is not normal. But then I saw it again when I was crying in the same exact. I was crying in the same exact moments. I was like, it's not me. It's
that counts. I count that as crying in front of people.
Yeah, girl, that was
definitely
real tears coming out. And I was like,
Black Panther is like, it had so many themes that are close to, like, there was just so much going on that
there was loss. There was the colonization, like war, all that.
There was so much that I understand. Like honestly, I got out of it.
Watch it again.
The thing is, I don't know how I can watch it again because after watching it, the one time I saw it, I was just it was so heavy that I was like, I don't know if I could watch this again. Like, that's how I felt. Yeah, because it's just so sad that, like, the fact that he's actually gone. So that's
definitely. I think that's what took it to the next level too. And like the moments where it was just silent, you know, like the silent honoring of his life. Like not like intentionally no audio just to be able to process it yourself. That's so powerful.
Also, I will say, I know we're not talking about Black Panther and like,
but we are.
But we are. I actually talked to my dad about this because I personally, and I know this is a kind of a hot take, loved the fact, and I know that sounds horrible because at first I was pissed that she saw her cousin in the thing.
Yes.
Instead. We should probably say spoiler alert.
No.
Spoiler alert.
We're not doing a spoiler alert. No, because it's been months, and if they ain't seen it yet, that's on them.
No, I'm saying spoiler
alert.
No,
when did this movie come out? No, but you should have seen it. Right? No, it's not spoiler alert.
I'm still saying spoiler alert. I sometimes I don't see movies I really want to watch because I just don't have time. I can't like fit it into my schedule. So I am gonna say spoiler alert.
No, I'm not giving them. No, I'm not taking responsibility for you not going to the theater to see Black Panther after it's been out for a freaking year.
No, it hasn't.
When did it come out?
It has not been out for a year. It's been out for a year. I saw it in the theater.
Now?
I saw it.
We're in March, Gabriela. It was out in November, December, January, February, March.
That's not a year. That's not a year.
It's 2023.
That's not a year. That's November. Okay. November. Okay.
I'm not taking responsibility.
January, February. That's 4 months, Amarilis. That's
for 4 months. When this movie's been out for 4 months.
I'm still doing it.
It's been 4 months. I'm not taking responsibility for not seeing it. You should have seen it already.
I'm gonna good thing that I'm editing this because I get to edit it, so I get to choose. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's on them. You waited 4 months. That's your problem. You can't tell me you didn't have time to see it in 4 months. Now, if we were talking about 1 month, I will give it to you. 4 months, you want to watch the movie, you better have watched a movie. It's not my fault you didn't watch it. So I'm going to talk about it all day long, up and down these internet streets.
Oh my God. A good thing I'm editing this. I'm still going to keep all of your rant in there though. So I'm going to keep your entire rant and I'm still going to do it. I'm going to keep your entire rant and then I'm going to make that whole rant a promo video so people get so mad that they start to watch the podcast.
Listen, no, it's not my responsibility that you didn't make this a priority in your life. I'm going to talk about it. You probably didn't. You probably don't care. If you waited 4 months to watch this movie, you can't come at me because, oh my gosh, I didn't watch Black Panther in 4 months. Amarilis, how can you spoil the movie for me? You didn't care that much.
The fact
you can't care if I tell you the story.
The fact that you've been at this for like 5 to 3 minutes, like of just pure no is hilarious to me. But anyway, continuing with what I was saying, I loved that she saw her cousin in the realm or whatever. Like I call it the realm because
it's the ancestors.
Yeah. Because the fact that like her anger was so driving her and like that anger part of grief was I loved that. That was so cool. I hated it at first. Like I was really upset. Like initially,
the movie did its job.
Like when it first happened, I was like, no. And then as it was going on, I was like, yeah, that's good. That's really good. So yeah, but anyway, sorry, let me go back to the question.
And I think that's what made me sad too. Like those we talked about like the themes of grief and the themes of like the fact that Chadwick Boseman actually passed and they were honoring him and like knowing that it was reality and that they were grieving
Right.
while they were making this movie and like
Right.
the power that came through it was also the fact that there was so much depth in the anger as part of grief too, of like, man, I was like, dope, man, she just needs a hug, but she don't
Yeah.
want to receive it. And it's just like the depth of all the different ways grief comes in of like you're big time sad, but you're so
Yeah.
blinded by anger. And both protagonists just so blinded by anger because of
Yeah.
everything that they lost.
Yeah. That
I'm
was
gonna watch
really
it.
cool. It was definitely really good. I liked it. I had mixed feelings because of like just at first like how heavy it was and also how long it was that I was sitting there, and then it wasn't until like the second half that I was like, I was already feeling but then I was like had like a break and I was like and then after a while I was like so it was just like a wave of emotions. But anyway, yes, watch the movie if you haven't.
Yeah, because I
Amarilis
mean I
will
already
uh
told you everything about it, and it's your responsibility to take action when you want to see a freaking movie. Anyways, that cut out. That's fine.
no, it didn't. So
When was the last time you cried in front of another person or by yourself and by yourself, Gabriela?
listen, I'm always crying all of the time. All of the time. I'm a very sensitive person. Um, the last time I actually cried in front of people was when I went to a poetry reading, like 2 weeks ago, and or no, yeah, like 2 weeks ago, and I really felt this girl's poem that was it was like about how Pennsylvania made her so sad, like the people in it made her so sad, and how she was like really depressed. And there was this like trigger warning, like it's about like self-harm, but like basically she was like talking about how anyway, I don't even know if I should talk about that, but like basically it was like really sad. And it was this one line specifically that was like heartbreaking, and I'll probably take it out of here. And that like got me like in the heart. And basically like I was in the middle of this like poetry reading.
Oof.
I was supposed to go next and I didn't know. I was
Mm.
crying. Like I've never cried like that without it being about like a movie or about myself or something. I was in tears, like wiping it and wiping it and wiping it and like crying. And then they go, our next poet is Gabriella. And I was like, what the
Wow.
frick? So I just had to like wipe it off.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was definitely the last time that I cried in front of people. It was literally 2 weeks ago when I heard that girl's beautiful poem. Actually, let me direct you to her poetry account. Her poetry Instagram is a.house.on.fire. That is her. You can find her on Instagram. Abby C.
True.
She only has 3 posts so far, but she's really, really good. So
As you were talking about that, like I was kind of imagining because like even that line that you shared, like I feel it so deeply, but I don't imagine myself crying. Like I can feel things deeply, but the emotion doesn't come through my eyes. It's like stays in my chest and
like, well, it could also be the fact that she read like 2 poems before that, and they were very, very heavy, and very charged with grief and emotion and like about like sexual assault and stuff like that too. So it was like a lot leading up to it. So that was probably part of it. But like that line got me. I was like, oh God. But yeah, that was the last time I cried in front of people, which is embarrassing because I really had to go.
embarrassing. You're at a poetry slam and she's talking about deep things.
Yeah. Except like not embarrassing, that's not the word. I was frustrated because I had to go next. So I was like, ooh, I could have just been crying and gone up. But anyway, the last time I cried by myself was literally Friday. What day is it?
Today's Saturday, girl. Friday was yesterday.
Okay, Thursday. Sorry, Thursday. The last time I cried was because I was writing a poem. Freaking poems. I was writing a poem for my class, and the prompt was like tell a story in your poem. And it could also be like contemplative. So I wrote one about my mom and how like the idea of like finding a bowl, and it's not even a real thing because like that didn't happen, but like I started it because I was gonna make it about something else. But basically, like in the story, like in the poem, she like goes to open her cabinet and then a bowl comes out and then it has her mom's handwriting and her name on the bowl, and she opens it and it smells like the carrot cake she used to make after, which is carrot cake's like very particular, but my mom used to make carrot cake. But basically all of that is like rooted in like what?
Did she love carrot cake?
She said that she said that your dad loved carrot cake. So
okay.
she would make it, and it's funny because she would make it and always talk about him when she would make it. Yeah, so I remember smelling like in it. It's like I had that experience before, but I just put it all together in the poem. It's like I realized by dessert that you would never be there, like you would never meet them. Just started crying at that part because then I like switched it to like she goes into the car, drives to the cemetery. It just the lines like we rip the grass from the earth, like you just get so mad that you want to rip the grass out from there. My mom used to sing this song that's like duérmete mi niña, duérmete. So instead I put like que descanse mi niña because she used to say that, and then at the end of the poem that's how I end it. It's just que descanse mi niña, and then I'm like I cried and I was like ready and I was like okay, and then I just I turned it in. But like, why did I tell you that whole thing? I'll probably cut it all out. But I was just giving you context.
No, don't cut it out because it gave me chills. And this is what I'm thinking. I remember when we first started the podcast, you were like, we would have conversations saying like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of a poem. I'm gonna read my poem. And then you would, so I'm like, you're telling the whole poem. I'm gonna need you to read. You can't just be telling me the story and how it makes you feel. I can not read your dang poem.
Okay, let me read it then.
Because like now I got chills because I'm like seeing all these.
Okay, I'll read it. It's really short. It's literally just called A Bowl. Okay, I'll read it. A bowl with my name in your handwriting rolled out of the kitchen cabinet yesterday. I could not seem to erase the 10-year-old Sharpie from its face. It was hidden beneath mountains of yellowed plastic that smells of the carrot cake you made me after school. I hold the Vicks bottle to my nose the way you do before rubbing it on my neck. Que descanses, mi niña, rest, my girl. You'd sing in kisses the color of salt water stirring before a storm. My blood was heavy on Sunday because we had dinner at Danny's and you weren't there. And it hit me at dessert that you'd never be. So I drove to visit you and rip the grass from the earth. A hesitant woman stopped her prayers to ask the Hispanic family to turn down the radio. I'm sorry, it was his favorite song, a mother called from a lawn chair. The air is humid, but the ground cold, and I write in the 20th journal you've never seen, que descanses, mi niña.
Ooh! Like, this is how I know your poem is good because I hate it. Like, that was my first reaction. Like, I hate it. It's terrible, but it's because it's that good that it makes you feel things. Fact that we spent the last 40 minutes answering 2 questions.
What? Oh my God. They were charged. They were emotionally charged.
Oh, the spoiler alert. And I looked at the date. I was like, whoa, the last time I cried in front of people was 4 months ago. Wait a minute. Oh it was 4 months since I cried in front of anybody. What does that say? Is that saying something?
I feel like some people never cry in front of other people, so that's kind of wild.
Tell your partner something that you like about them already.
There's so many things I like about you.
What I like about you.
You're so pretty. Like, you're so physically beautiful. You are so, like, I've always thought you're one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, I would always say, wow, she's so pretty. Like, to me, you were always look like a princess. Like, yeah, I've never said that, I don't think. But yeah, that's how
That's amazing. The things that you learn from like little kids' points of view, because I'm just like, whoa, like, no, we have a very attractive family. But I've never been called a princess. It's interesting. It's interesting because I don't think of myself that way, but like it's just like, oh, it's like the self-esteem kind of things or self-image. Yeah. Like you want to be that, but I appreciate it.
It's true.
That's beautiful.
It's true.
I'm gonna be honest. This is vulnerable moment. I'm like that like beauty and image is tough because I'm like, I'm getting older. I'm like, damn it. Like your
Yeah.
face changes, you grow,
Yeah.
you develop. So it's just like being able to accept and embrace the kind of beauty you are at the phase of life that you're in is so difficult because it's rebellious, really, like trying to embrace the changes and the movements and the differences in your face and your body as you grow.
Mm.
It's because it's like, oh no, it's pretty fading, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just different. It is different.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like
it's that
changing.
it's that self-love journey of like, when you love someone, you love them as they grow and as they develop and as they change. And it's difficult when you're kind of seeing yourself changing. You're like, no, stop.
Mm.
Like the evil queen, but you're just like, no, this is what's supposed to happen
Yeah.
as you older. It's still beautiful. It's just we have a distortion of what pretty and beautiful is. Because I think of like the old ladies and I'm like, they're so beautiful. Like I think of like my grandmas and like they're so beautiful and stuff. But and like the people in our family, and I'm like, why can't I look at other people that way? But it's hard to kind of see yourself in that way in
Mm.
different phases. So
Yeah.
appreciate. I like your fiery spirit. I like your like there's depth in your soul, but you just like want to like I don't know, you have a love for life, I guess is what it is. And it comes from your experiences and who you are as a person. But I like your fiery spirit. And I don't want you to lose your quirk. I
Yeah.
like it.
Aw, thank you. What if anything is too serious to be joked about?
I think death.
Death.
I think you can't joke about it. But can you? Am I wrong?
You
But I
can, it's up to you. Like this is your opinion and it's like what you think. Death in what context?
don't like dark humor.
Oh, okay. I see.
But I guess there's certain aspects that you can be funny with it. But like I can't think of an example in which death right now is funny.
I feel like that about like any jokes are like suicide jokes. I don't like those
Yeah.
jokes. Yeah.
No, definitely not.
I do make jokes sometimes. Like I get home, there's like letters that for some reason still addressed to my mom, and I'll be like, "Oh, well, she's not gonna get these." Like I throw them out, like things like that. But like I do that, and then sometimes like I laugh if like some one of those like these don't really come up as much, but like they used to like on Facebook share this or your mom will die. I always laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I think in ugh, it's tricky because that's why I was like, are there moments where it's funny, but it's like death itself isn't. But
No.
I think there's a difference in the way I perceive it when it comes to you can make fun of the dead. I don't know if that's bad, but it's like you can make jokes about the dead, and but I don't know about death itself. Where it's just like, oh yeah, she's not gonna get this. It's like that's your mom, right? And I think
Yeah.
of, like we talk about ghosts, and I think about like just my dad who's also passed away, and like making jokes of like, oh, um, like something fell or I felt it took like, oh that like, well, dad, why you tripping me? Like or something, or like why you
Yeah.
throwing things or like what's going on? But like
But
I
like
think there's more
how
relationship things,
so how
but
would you define like a joke that's rooted in like death that you don't that is too serious to joke about? Like what would that look like?
it's not even a process of dying. Um, because I think that can be funny too. Like funny things happen at funerals or like when people are dying. It's just like, wait a
Or
minute.
when
Like
they don't look like each other, when they're like
when they're
in the
Celia
casket.
Cruz,
Yeah, they're in the casket and they don't look
when
like
the,
themselves.
yeah, that was funny.
My mom has never looked like that in her life. And then when they put her in the casket and they like tried to put a bunch of makeup on her, she just looked nothing like my mother. And I laughed when I saw it. And like,
We all laughed because we
was,
were laughing with you guys. We're like, you guys are like, oh no, it's Celia Cruz. And we looked and we're like, oh my
why
gosh.
did they do that? But like, I laughed. But like, I don't know. Like, obviously it's sad because it's a body, and like most people would probably say don't joke about that because
But
that is
no,
sad.
I think
But
it's necessary in those moments because we made I made fun of I made also fun of my dad when he was in the casket because he had lipstick on.
lipstick, I remember that.
And I was like, he had lipstick on, and I at first I didn't notice, but he had a birthmark on his lip.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at him, I was looking for the birthmark, and I was like, "Where is it?" And I was like, "Oh, you have lipstick on!" And it was funny because it's just so out of his character, who
Yeah.
he is. So I think there's moments that humor does break up seriousness, but I think it's in a space of talking about, like you had mentioned, like suicidal things or wishing
Yeah.
death upon other people, or like like those
Yeah.
things. I'm like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not funny.
Yeah,
That's not
no. I would never wish, yeah, no, death onto other people, definitely not. Definitely not. That's yeah.
But so I think there's nuance there of like there's a
Yeah.
difference in joking about death and when it comes versus the process of dying and the dead. There's like nuance on when it's okay, I guess, and when in my aspect, in my eyes, like
I feel
you can't
like
just
it's
be throwing jokes about.
I think like maybe
I guess terminating life is different than death.
yeah, I was gonna say like intentionally, I don't know, like intentionally like wanting, like desire to I don't know, like joking about the desire for death is that's what I mean by I don't like that. Like
Yeah,
that's
I think that's a good way of like desire for death
yeah, that's
versus
like
because for
definitely
self or for others.
for me like something that's way too serious and definitely should not be joked at. I think the biggest thing is like rape, like anything that has to do like with
Oh, it's like
yeah,
violence. Like violence is not funny.
yeah, like something that's super like serious like that like really inflicts a lot of harm on other people. That's like I don't think that's funny. Like I've been in like social situations where like they're not my friends, but like I've been around like some people that would make a joke about that, and I never have like ever since I was a kid, I was like never laughed because like anything that has to do with like
That's not
any
funny.
like something that's like sexual assault that like and it's usually guys that joke about it too, which is
What?
not
Who
yeah
have you been around?
not like now, like not
Yeah,
it's not typical, but like I don't know, like in high school I would hear it and I'd be like I would genuinely be shocked because like it just as a I don't know, it shouldn't just be for women. Like
it's not.
any person should feel like I feel every time I hear anything about that, this disgusting feeling in my stomach, like this horrible, like, no, this is bad. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, this is horrible. Like, this is wrong of you to like joke about. I feel it in my stomach. Like, it's so like prominent. And I can't enjoy any conversation where that direction, like that, it's going in that direction. In which case, I'm just like, I'm like, that's not funny. What you say out loud, like a lot of the time your brain cannot tell the difference between like saying something and meaning something because it hears certain words. And I was talking about the part of your brain that filters out all of your reality. I say I'm dumb, like when I'm laughing at something, I'm dumb.
Yeah.
I personally know I can't do
Yes.
that because like my history with like that is so much that I'm like, I can't actually say that because even though I'm joking, my brain's like, oh, we're calling ourselves dumb again? Right. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
start. Like,
because it feeds your belief system for sure. Because I think of that with just some of the examples of how the self-talk in our family and families in general.
yeah.
I dropped something, ay que burra. Get like, and like I don't know if that slipped out. Did that cut out?
No, I
Because it
heard it.
froze on my side.
No.
Okay. But yeah, it's like that process of growing up and hearing our family self-talk has then become our self-talk. And it's just like, where did you learn that you were dumb? And like those, like it traces back to those moments of like everybody said I was smart, but then
Yeah.
like moments of like, no, if they're dumb, then I'm dumb for doing the same thing. I want to tell you because I met up with a friend yesterday and she's into marine conservation. Shout out to Tal. And she told me this. We were talking about language. She said, and I don't know if you knew this, I didn't know, that orcas have their own language.
No, I did
And
not know this.
And depending on where they are, which region, they have their own separate language. So each group of orcas has their own language. So one group of orcas from like one side of the world cannot understand or speak to the other orcas from the other side of the world because their languages are completely different.
What? This is amazing. I'm just imagining these little like whale looking things like yeah, let me go to like a different side of the world and like I need to ask them questions or something like that. And
it's like people.
It's like, hey, and then they just stare at them like, I don't know what you're saying, bro.
Yo, and then having like are there translating orcas then too? Like, do they have interpreters like us? Where they're like, oh,
wait, now you really do they have
the interpreting orca who has I said okra.
You're so good with your vegetables. The vegetables are so
we have the two whales and then the vegetables in the middle translating. I can't. No. But yeah, maybe there's an orca who knows both languages. Oh my gosh. That was news to me.
That's crazy. I never knew that. Orcas.
Okay, if you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone?
Oh no. Specifically, like specific people or just anybody?
Listen, I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question. I can only read the question that was provided to me.
Okay.
If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone?
I'm gonna die because it's gonna be a surprise and not a good one. I think I would more regret not doing things with them or like going and doing things with them. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my personal feeling. Yeah, if I really care about someone, I tell them. I don't think I've not. That sounds. I don't know if that sounds weird because usually people are like, "Oh, I should have said this," but like, I don't know. I kind of tell people like, "I love you," and I don't know. Even if it's not
You're good then.
Yeah, like
yeah.
even not socially acceptable in the moment, I don't really care. I'll just be like, "I really like you," or "I think you're cool," or "I love you." Like if I don't know them that well, I'll be like,
or this edamame is really yummy.
But how about you? What would you?
I had a similar response when I read this question of like, I don't really regret not saying anything to anybody. If I were to die tonight and not be able to talk to anybody else, I was thinking about like I've been more intentional, I guess, in the past few years of being more truthful in my conversations with people.
That's
and
good.
just expressing my needs and my wants. So like I feel good in, like I'm not holding any secrets or guarding anything that I think needs to be expressed. The only thing that did come up for me when I thought about it was if I were to die and not talk to anybody, I regret maybe not telling certain people that I forgive them. Not because I'm holding a grudge, but like my concern is then when I pass, will these people have almost like that, like will they have a weight on themselves not knowing, or having a weight of guilt still, because in my point of view, I've forgiven them and that's okay, like there's no ill will anymore, but I still don't want to reconcile. Like I forgive you, but I don't want you in my life. So, or I don't want the same level of relationship again, which is why I haven't told them that I forgive them yet, because I don't think it's safe to. For me, in those interactions, I don't think it's really safe to let them know I've forgiven them, because there may be lack of boundaries or lack of understanding or continuing to try to reestablish a relationship that for me no longer exists. I forgive you, but I don't want you in my life.
So I'm wondering, do you have letters to these people like that for your journaling reasons, for your own self like healing?
I have letters, but they're not forgiveness letters. They're like processing letters of that.
If you died, and someone found your journal, would you want them to read those letters or give those letters to the people that they're about?
The one I'm thinking of like the letters, because one is like really a letter towards like it's a direct letter to this person.
Yeah.
The other is more of like general. So I'm thinking of the second one. I'm like, people may not realize that that's what I was processing because it wasn't directed at the person.
Okay.
It was directed to the hurt that I feel.
Right.
They could and they could not. You know, like I think about it, just I have no control of how the other person
Right.
would respond. And I know that the person is not the healthiest in of where they're at with life, which is why I don't think it's safe for me emotionally to have this conversation with them. I would want them to know that I have no ill will to them. So if they had the letter that I had written, it goes into all my feelings of why I'm angry, why I don't want them in my life, why it's not my responsibility to take care of their feelings. So like how I have no ill will and I want you to be well, but it's not my job to make you feel happy.
I'm chaotic. I would, if you died, I don't want you to die, like anytime soon. Like,
yeah.
I don't anytime soon.
Yeah, I hear you.
I would, that's a terrible reason why I would take your letters and with your consent in your will or whatever and give it to the people.
Like it's not like, oh no, they shouldn't see it. Like they could see it, they could not see it, but it's not something that I'm like, give this letter to this person when I die, or don't give this letter to this person when I die. Like it's more of like it's the truth, and there's a contradiction, right? Where I'm like, it's in the letter I wrote, it's not my responsibility to make sure that you feel good.
Yeah.
But then there's that regret when we have this question of like, there is a little bit of like that regret and like that feeling, that sense of love of like, I don't want you to hurt and I don't want you to have this doubt, but there's also there's also the truth that this is the reality.
Yeah.
This is why our relationship isn't good. So yeah, I'm completely contradicting myself of like, it's not my responsibility to make you happy, but I also will feel responsible if you feel guilt.
I understand the reason why I'm
guilt in the bad sense.
Girl, the reason why I'm smiling is not because it's because I understand you, and I'm just laughing because I can't. I'm screaming. I have so many letters to people in my life that have hurt me, and I have had I've had no way of sending it to them. If I die,
there's like, if I die, send the letters to everyone.
Unless I have it written specifically, I would and it's because I know it's because I'm sorry. I know it's because I'm pretty young, and I'm pretty sure that's like has to do with like not processing it like as well as you're older and like you've learned to heal a lot earlier. And I'm like at the point you were like 10 years ago. I would be like, I would be like,
you're like, set the world on fire when I go. I want to go out with a bang. Let them feel it.
I kind of want to be like, oh yeah. Like I'm smiling and laughing because I'm like, yo, if I die, like early on, I don't want to, just to make that clear. I'll be probably happy no matter when I go, but like whatever.
Oh my gosh, all I heard was avenge me with my letters.
That's another reason why I need to like pray a lot, so that way I can like, because that's not gonna send me straight to heaven. I can tell you that, like not with that attitude. So I really have to work on that. I pray to God every day.
Maybe send the letters now. What would happen if you sent the letters now?
Chaos. Complete chaos would, because I would be sending letters. Okay, do you remember To All the Boys We've Loved Before? Have you seen that movie before?
Yeah.
Okay, it would be the opposite of that. Like I would be sending letters to people that have hurt me since I was in middle school, and like they would be getting these letters that I wrote in like high school and like middle school, and it's just like like some of them are very angry and I wouldn't want people to read them. The really angry ones, don't send those out. Don't send those out.
Well, girl, you're gonna have to put a little note on these letters.
My kids are gonna have such a blast.
Because like, how are we supposed to know which ones to send and which ones not to send?
My grandchildren are gonna have a blast reading they're gonna be, yo, grandma curses so much. No, I don't. No, I need my future grandkids to know I do not curse like all the time. I was just very angry in these moments. And then there's ones, there are a couple that are like, oh, like, I just want you to know that I really like cared about you and you really made a difference in my life. And then like right after that, there's ones like, screw you, like you really hurt me. Then afterwards, usually like it's a process for me. So it's like I get pissed, then I'm like, it's okay. And then the last one is like, oh, I'm mad. And it's not okay.
Yeah.
But I forgive you. That one, send it out. That one, send it out. Don't send it or maybe put them in a packet. Like put a little booklet, make it into a booklet, make it into like a nice looking poetry book and be like, from your dead friend in the past, send it out. Send it out. They probably don't even remember I exist at that point. Send it out.
It's so funny because you started and you're like, I love chaos when I was answering. And then I asked you, what would happen if we sent these letters out? You're like, chaos. So it's like there's a part of me that really wants the chaos as long as it has nothing to do with you or like
because I'm dead. But Amarilis, I'm dead.
You're like, I don't want to be part of the chaos when I'm living, but when I'm dead, yes.
Yeah. I'm alive, so don't send out these letters. I'm dead. Oh yeah.
You just don't want to deal with it. You just don't want to deal with it, you chump.
I don't. No, I don't. Yeah, I am a chump. I really don't want to deal with it. Everything you own catches fire. After saving
That's because Gabriela came through. That's what happened. It caught fire because this one set the world on fire, including my house, because she sent the letters.
No,
that's
because
what happened.
Mira, to say that is to say that I died, Amarilis.
No, it's
because
not.
I'm not gonna send the letters
you are
until I'm dead.
You're not fire only when you're dead. It's your fault. You're setting the world on fire. Anyways,
I mean, okay. I'm a writer. If you piss me off and hurt me, I'm going to put you in my book. I'm going to write about you. It's not, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm going to write about you. You read that and you're like, damn, words sound familiar. It kind of sounds like my relationship with her a little bit. It's about you. It's
Gabi,
about you.
Like, if the shoe fits, it's none of my business, but if the shoe fits.
Yeah, but anyway, that's beside the point. No, but in all actuality, it's because I was healing and like I was healing and I needed an outlet, and then I published my work because, you know, very close to me. But also, yes, it's about you. So do with that as you will. Anyway, so your house catches fire. And everything you own is like, after saving your loved ones, pets, thank God, you have to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be and why?
Honestly, this is whack, but
it's okay.
It's practical. I'm like, the last thing I would go in to get, it'd be my phone so I could call for help. Like,
that's good.
Like, I'm in my house just went on fire, lost everything. Like, if I have my phone, I mean, I know the I was gonna say bomberos were gonna come, like the firefighters are gonna come and all these things, and they have phone, but it's just like I don't remember people's phone numbers.
Yeah.
Like, and I could just like I could go on the internet and I could replace all these things. It would be just nice to have my phone immediately.
Yeah. What if you already had your phone on you? Because like sometimes you just have it in your pocket. So like
my laptop.
Your laptop. Because
it has stuff on it.
Right.
And like it's stuff like not like nasty stuff, you know?
No.
But because people be making things up in their head of like, oh, she needs her laptop because it has stuff on it. No, it has my work on it.
I never thought that in the slightest.
Not you.
What the heck?
Not you. But I don't know who's listening, okay? And listeners be doing, like, listeners have different minds, you know? Like, I know that your brain's not going there, but I just think of, like,
But like
My brain went to my brother and to my cousins, and they're like, "Ooh, she's in there. What stuff she got in there?" That's what I was thinking.
That's
the
hilarious.
stuff that I got in there are like my workshops and my things and like my like my projects, bruh.
Yeah.
No.
You don't have that on a cloud? I feel like I touched a nerve. Okay, yeah.
Because I know I should be better with things, but I don't like to. I don't like to be better.
You were talking and I'm like, she's so practical.
I know that's what happens when I'm in emergencies. I become very practical.
That's so good.
I learned that from my mom. It's just like, oh, all the logic that doesn't exist in my day-to-day, it's there when an emergency happens. Like, you want me in your corner when things are chaotic.
For real.
That's the only time I can be extremely practical.
That's really cool, and that's really good to have. I don't think this prompt is realistic. Because we would be grabbing everything we possibly could before we ran out.
You have one final dash.
If I say it, it's gonna sound hilariously stupid.
No, I'm gonna guess in my brain.
I think you already know what it is.
I have two things in my head, but you go, and I'll let you know if it is.
The thing is, okay, the first item that came to my mind was my corchita.
Yes, that's what I thought in my head.
First item in my mind was my baby. Okay, it's listeners, I'm really exposing myself at this point. Anyway, I would get my baby blanket because it's comforting. But anyway,
of all the people in your family, whose death would you find most disturbing? Why?
Why would they ask that?
I don't know how this makes me fall in love. It's really a downer, but answer the question. This is stupid. See, like I don't know, like how is this supposed to make me fall in love? It just makes me mad at the writer. Like, why asking these questions?
Yeah, okay. All of them are sad. All of them have caused some bit of like trauma.
Whose death would you find most disturbing?
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Like,
girl, you don't this is the right, just go with what is written.
Disturbing.
You don't have to interpret the question.
Disturbing to me just sounds to me like somebody got cut up or something. Like, woo! That's what it is in my head. It's
not about how, it's whose death would you find most disturbing?
I don't like saying it because I feel like my words have power, but most disturbing death, disturbing, maybe one of the younger cousins, but like, yeah, that's honest. I'm just gonna say that. How about you?
Yeah, I don't like this question because what we were talking about earlier too, like, I don't want to speak it into existence.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it.
No.
But I agree with you. They would have, I'm not going to give names because I don't want to speak it into reality. Even though we don't have that power, but we do. I don't even want to play with that idea.
Yeah.
But like anybody who may be starting off in life, we had deaths in the family where they died early. Those or like, I guess not early because everybody's time is their time, but like abruptly. Yeah. You know, those have been really disturbing. Because when you don't see it coming, it's just like, wait a minute, you had so much life to go. So that would be why anybody who's young, I would find most disturbing to go, because you have so much life to give. Yeah. It's not what we expect when it comes to that. So yeah. Next question, your turn. We don't like this. Go to the next
sounds
one.
Good. Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Also, why we're broadcasting this to the world. Also, ask
I don't know. I was, as you were reading, I was like, whose idea was to do this? Like, no one's putting all our business out in the light.
Ask your partner to reflect on how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen.
Damn. Oh, it's my turn. I have to answer first. I was like waiting. I was like, okay, you'll answer first and then I'll give me time to think. But no. How
Coconut oil, it always helps.
Beaks. Just rub Vicks on it.
Vicks and coconut oil. That'll help you.
Gosh. And a little bit of tea. You're good.
Tea.
What is it? You have heartache? Tea. Beaks. You know? You lost your job?
Beaks.
Tea. Get some beaks. You know?
Yeah.
A little bit of coconut oil if you want. And if you really want it to all go away, an enema will be the perfect solution.
No, that could be your solution. Pero para mí, yo creo que I'm good. I think I'm good.
No, I laugh because that was like my grandma's response to everything. It was a running joke of like, oh, you know, that fixes everything. It's just like, broke your knee, an enema. Like, it was just a joke.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Lord. I have a lot of things coming up. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of things that I would like to do. I have this podcast. I have editing for the podcast, like the recordings of it. I also have like different like groups that I'm offering. I'm also like trying to manage promoting all of these things and just marketing, and I'm learning all these things. I have a business coach.
That's good.
But I have a lot of things going on and I want to execute them. Right. And I am bad at, well, I'm not going to say bad. I need help.
Yes, that's the better language.
And being able to really, to make the most of that, of my potential by organizing. That's a problem for me.
Okay. 10 minutes.
Yes, fix all my problems.
Okay, so now, even though I struggle with this as well, listening to you actually is really helpful because I think maybe focus, and this is hard. I know saying it out loud is like painful for me to say, but like picking, or like I say like journaling it out and like trying to figure out which one is the one that's like the one sticking out to you the most in your heart. At least this is what I do. Like I try to like be like, what is the one that keeps coming back to me? Or like in my experience, like what's the one that God keeps bringing back to me and shoving in my face? Like which one's the one that like he wants me to work on right now? Because the thing is, we always have so much, like we have so much potential and God wants us to do a lot of things, but like not all at once necessarily. Like I don't think, even though it is possible to maybe do a lot of things at the same time, but like you have to establish one at a time. And that's really hard because if your brain is like here and there and here and there, like my brain is also like that. So it's like, how do you do that? I don't know, but I do think, I do think like journaling it out, talking with God, conversing with people, and just learning about the one that's coming out the most, like what your intuition is saying, and then focusing on that and just spending so much of your time like learning about that thing and observing yourself in relation to that thing. And then after that period of like internal receiving of this information, and not just information, it's like feelings and everything, and like your relationship with that specific topic or one of your projects, and then starting to make a plan. And like, yeah, so it's hard.
Oh no, that's good. That's good. Using your spiritual lens. Look at you.
Yeah.
Because I think about of how I've been trying to organize things and the projects, and I'm like, okay, what feels more logical? And I think that's why it feels like,
right,
maybe it's just not, I'm like, I have to be more organized, be more logical. I'm trying to think of like, this is coming up next. This is when I would like to offer
right,
or put it. So I'm working on things based on time versus what you're saying is passion and inspiration.
Yeah, time is important though. It's important. Time is very important. So I understand that. I just think like before you can set your limits with like time, just knowing which thing your heart is, and like, I don't know. I know that sounds like whatever, like your heart is leaning on, and you're like, if you're motivated to do that thing, the time constraints will won't feel as like annoying, like, oh, now I have to do this. It's more of like, I get to do this because I have it planned out more. Like, I have my feelings on the subject more solidified. Whereas, like, if I jump into something and I say, I'm going to, like, for example, this podcast, like, when we did it the first time and we had like a set schedule, we didn't really know exactly what we were going to be doing. And because of that, I couldn't find my passion and drive in it. And so, like, I know, and I'm sorry to talk about myself in this context because this is about you, not about me, and I'm sorry.
No, but it's good example.
But like my personal experience with this, like, example is like, because I didn't have that like drive and passion because I didn't get to know that the nature of it. It was harder for me to get excited to like schedule those times. And I feel the exact same way about writing. Now I try to set time aside to sit down and write, but it's because now I know what I'm writing about. Now I know what I'm excited about. I
You
know
have a purpose. You have some kind of like idea.
Right. So that's what I mean when I say that. I don't know if that's helpful, but like that's just my experience with it.
It is helpful because I think about it, when you're excited about something, it gives you more fuel to prioritize it, and even other things too, of like,
Right.
okay, how this thing that I'm passionate about or excited about, because it may not be passionate, like, oh, this one's kind of feeling fun, that kind of fuels you to find then reason to either pivot the other things or understand how they may be a supplement to it. Because I'm just thinking of how my projects are, of like, they go together, but there's definitely ones that I'm more excited about than others.
Yeah.
And I could, like, if I'm working on this that's exciting, it's feeding me to keep organizing other things.
Yeah.
Woo. Cool. I'm thinking about it, but maybe I won't. But maybe I will. But maybe yes. Okay. I'm just gonna go. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm like, yes or no. I'm going to do a retreat in Puerto Rico. I'm going to do a retreat. I'm offering a retreat in Puerto Rico to discover and to hone and to nurture your authentic voice and your authentic self, exploring your roots and where you are now, kind of following your curiosities in order to really feed your passions and expand those things beyond yourself. So I will be offering that, and you can check it out. Let me know if you're about it. Go to stuck2empowered.com and then send me information or apply to see if you're interested, and we can get on a call and chat about it. That's all.
Yay! I'm so proud of you.
I'm gonna do that.
I think that's awesome. I'm really proud of you for promoting that on here. Or not even promoting, just like talking about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Look, we made it to the end, so you can fix my life. Now
Yes.
it's your turn. Oh, no. The second part of the question says I have to ask you to reflect how you think I feel about the problem I just talked about.
I think that you're very excited about like the retreat. I think that it seems like you're a little scared about how to do it. And like the fact that you're going to do it, and it seems like you're a little bit nervous about like who's gonna do it and like that whole dynamic as well, but like your heart is in it.
I definitely feel scared, not because of it itself, but it's because I've done groups, I've done all these things, I've led groups, I've led workshops, but it is to a different level of being able to be completely vulnerable and take people to a different space, so they can be in their own space to clear their own mind.
Right. Yeah.
And it's my home, so there is also that space of like, I want to show and share my home with people. So there is that, like, there's almost like that scared but like excited anticipation, because fear and excitement are you feel them the same. So it is like, oof, I'm pumped.
And also, I was gonna say, I know we have less than a minute, but like I was gonna say that for your initial issue that you were talking about having everything scattered, you seem very frustrated. But that's like a reflex, like that's pretty easy to see. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
My personal problem was the one you said before. So I can't really use it anymore.
You gave yourself advice.
I know, that's why I was laughing when you started. But okay, so a personal problem that I have. I can't think of a problem. I have lots of problems. Oh, yes, I got one. How do you balance your social life with your like work life or school life? Or like just taking care of the house. Like, how do you, and then time with yourself, because you need time. Like, I'm an introvert as well, even though I'm pretty social. I like to be alone and spend time with myself. So how do you navigate balancing that would be my question.
It's a good question. Because I laugh because I'm like, I've been trying to work on that, but balancing all of your needs really, of like your social needs. Sorry, I hear the dog. She's crying because she can't be with me right now because she's a distraction. But when she notices that I'm in the room or nearby and she can't be with me, she puts on performances like
Oh
this.
my goodness.
And she's like, she wants to be right here, but she was being distracting. Anyway, so all right. So what I was saying is, Binya, stop it. No, it's a good question. It's a good question because I've been working on that one myself too. I'm trying to prioritize and really be intentional. Binya, cállate la boca. Being intentional about friends and me time, being healthy. I schedule it. I literally put it on my calendar and I block out time like it's an appointment. Like if you have a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment, you block out that time. And I can't work, I can't go to school, I can't do these things because I have a date with my friend. But then it's like what we were talking about before going on the podcast of having a specific time of when it starts and when it ends. So that way you're not stuck in the social settings for overtime. It's like, no, you feed the relationship, give it a couple hours, and then block out the time and recognize that your other priorities, your other parts of your life are also important too. Of no, I have I have another appointment I have to go to. So like, let's say you and I are hanging out, we're friends, we go out to eat, and you're like, oh, you want to go back to the house or want to go to watch a movie? And it's like, I can't actually, I have another appointment, but I was really fun hanging out with you. It's this boundary setting. It really is. Wow. And the other appointment may be that you had plans to go on a bike ride for yourself or go to the library or go to Barnes and Noble. You set up an appointment with yourself too, and honestly put that in your calendar too, of like, no, I'm going to bike ride and I'm going to for this time. It's really being able to give the same amount of responsibility and priority to each part of your life. That hanging out with friends is just as important as school, that school is just as important as spending time by yourself.
That's good. That is that's good.
Because I used to be in a space where it's just like, oh, if I'm just doing something by myself, if I wanted to clean today, somebody was like, oh, what are you doing? Let's hang out. Are you doing anything? And I'll be like, no, I was just cleaning. Like, no, wait a minute. I actually I realized that cleaning is really important, and then I don't feel well if I don't do that. So I'll just say, actually, yes, I'm busy. I'm cleaning, but I will be free at this time if you want to hang out. Like, it's still an important appointment.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I've started to do that, but I've never put it in my calendar ever. Like when it comes to like my own thing, I even put down, like I put down in my like monthly calendar that I see every day, like my friend hangouts, but I never put in like my actual me time, which is interesting. That's really cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. How did I seem to be feeling about the problem I chose?
A little bit I would say not too frazzled or anything, but it's almost like with a desire. Like it's like you feel like you really just want to be better in this phase. Like there's a lot of intentionality, I guess, of like, no, I've been working on this, I'm struggling with it, and I really want to give all of this the time that it deserves. So there's
Yeah.
almost like the conviction, I guess, is what I would say.
That's a good word, a conviction.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary. Vocabulary. Vocabulary.
Vocab. I saw a video. I saw a video, and I was like, it's totally millennial, because it was about like listening to music back in the day, and you're listening to Mariah Carey songs, and you're like learning all the vocabulary, and you're like writing it down, like, oh, and it's just like playing all these different songs like incessantly, like all these things, and I laughed because I had never heard anybody else say that. I would always tell that to my sister. My older sister was like, "Man, I learned so many words with Mariah Carey's songs. So many of her words in her songs were spelling words when I was growing up." I was like, "Oh, I just learned that in spelling class. She has it in a song." So, anyways,
that is so funny. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Who was the one? I had someone that I listened to that would do that too, but I'm trying to think of their. I feel like it was some sort of like. Sorry, I got distracted. I just started closing off the tabs, and then I saw orcas and I started laughing, and I was thinking about the orcas and I started clicking on orca stuff. I'm sorry.
Gotta love it.
Okay.
We could wrap it up though. Like when we're looking at this, because you gotta go soon, don't you?
I do have to go right now.
Okay, cool. So
I have to pee.
did it work? Did you fall in love with me though?
Yes, I did. I learned so much about you. I actually learned a lot about you, and it's interesting because after our first 2 episodes came out again, I actually re-listened to them after we recorded. So like when they came out, I actually listened to them, and I felt like I was actually having that conversation with you again, and I was learning all those things about you again. And I think that really helped me because otherwise not that I would forget the things you said, just I would forget the context of the conversation because it would be so long ago. So I thought it was cool, and I definitely fell in love with you. I feel like I have a deeper like friendship relationship with you in a different depth, and also I love it because I talk a lot and I don't ask enough questions in general. So this was really helpful in me learning how to ask questions. Because like, yeah, I'm really bad at asking questions. So
I love it. And I agree with what you're saying of like, it is like we've known each other all your life, but not known each other in depth, you know, and I think that happens with all relationships, romance, family, friends. And I love the fact that we could do this and really learn more about each other and like just see how even we've evolved, like, you know, because I think this would even be cool if you're listening and wanting to do this, even revisiting these same questions to see how you've changed, because you're constantly discovering yourself and each other in relationships. So yay, I fell in love with you too.
Yes, I definitely don't think I'm the same person. Not I'm the same person, but like I don't think I feel like the same person from when we first started those questions versus how we ended it. Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool to see, because I think that's what relationships are. We talk about them. They're mirrors of like, you learn about yourself, but you learn about other people.
It's evolving too together, and it's cool, and I love it. And I love it. I just say I just love having the podcast in general.
What are you grateful?
I'm just like, that'll be my grateful thing for the day. Like I'm grateful for this podcast, this idea, like not just like the idea of having it, just the fact that it's happening, like the fact that every time like we like start to get back in the slump of like, oh man, we're so busy, there's so much going on, but we still make an effort.
I think that was the whole intention, and it's not, I know that was the whole intention behind when we started this, is like our conversations are so fun that it would be nice to just share that with the world. And invite other people into the conversation with us. So I am also grateful for the podcast, and I'm grateful for learning and evolving, honestly. And just evolving is so I'm grateful for the ability to reflect and see our own journeys come through.
That's so beautiful.
I am thankful for, it's so beautiful.
It's so good. I love it.
Girl, I love it. I've definitely been leaning into that with the podcast. She hears me every time. With the podcast, but also even with social media, being able to fall in love with each other, but even with ourselves, of seeing our own growth. Because if you don't document it, it's easy to dismiss your own development. So I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for this, and I'm so glad that for your listeners that are out here and supporting us and just enjoying space with us. Check us out on Instagram. We are on I Am Here Pod. We are also, if you want to send us emails and just share information with us, we are at I Am Here pod@gmail.com, on Facebook, all the platforms. Share your favorite quote and then tag us so we can reshare your info. That would be fun.
Yes.
But we're so grateful that you are here.
And we are here with you.
Peace.
Another rainy day, looking for a place to stay. I could find the words to say with the familiar face and the comfy pillowcase. I see the steam from the kitchen. My world's brighter when you visit. No more weight on my shoulders. Our hearts warming up, though outside it gets colder. I consider it a privilege just to hear you and hold ya. Thank you for the blessings, the tears and the laughs and the love and the lessons. This one goes out to my brethren. Let me listen for a second. The connections are close, here they anchor your boat. Come and send it your code when you're looking for more. Lay your back on the shore, though there's anger and war. You'll find love through this door. You'll find love through this door. I am wise, I am strong. I am loved, I am here. I am wise, I am strong. I am loved, I am here. I am loved, I am here.